Today's story is one of the most unexpected love stories you'll ever hear. It's about a billionaire's son who fell in love with a homeless girl and gave up everything to stand by her side. Stay till the end, you won't believe what she was hiding all along. Subscribe to my channel, leave a like, and write a comment. For every new subscriber, I'll donate $1 to charity. Liam Ashford had everything. A penthouse in downtown Manhattan, a trust fund that could finance a small country, and invitations to every exclusive gala in the city. Yet at 26, he felt absolutely nothing. The champagne tasted stale. The laughter around him echoed like empty bells. Even his birthday, celebrated on a yacht with celebrities and fireworks, felt more like a performance than a party. So one morning, wearing a hoodie and sunglasses to avoid attention, he took a walk. No bodyguards, no driver. Just him and the city. He wandered into an older part of town. The sidewalks were cracked, the buildings worn. No marble lobbies here. No doormen offering polite smiles. Just silence, and the distant sound of chalk scraping pavement. He turned a corner, and saw her. She sat cross-legged on the concrete, her jeans torn but not dirty, her hair tucked into a messy braid. Around her, the sidewalk had been transformed into a patchwork of color, suns, animals, even a drawing of the New York skyline done in vivid pastel. But what caught his eye was her focus. She was drawing a girl, not a cartoon, but something real, a girl looking up at the stars, with eyes full of hope. Liam stopped a few steps away, unsure if he should interrupt. She looked up. She didn't flinch, didn't beg, didn't even seem surprised. "You lost?" she asked calmly, wiping her hands on a ragged cloth. Liam blinked. "No. Just looking." She nodded and went back to drawing. No small talk, no performance, just peace. He watched her silently for a moment. Then, without thinking, he walked to the nearest coffee shop, bought 2 lattes, and returned. "I thought you might be cold," he said, handing one to her. She looked at the cup, then at him. "Thanks. But I don't take things from strangers." Liam hesitated. "I'm Liam." She smiled faintly. "That's still a stranger." He laughed, then sat down on the curb, a few feet away. She kept drawing. He didn't talk. Minutes passed like that. A quiet rhythm, her chalk scraping, his coffee cooling. Eventually she broke the silence. "Why are you really here?" Liam thought about it. He wasn't sure himself. Then he said, "I guess I got tired of gold ceilings and fake smiles." She glanced at him, curious now. He pointed at her drawing. "That girl. She looks like she still believes in something." She stopped, then said, "Maybe she does. Maybe I used to." He didn't ask what happened. Not yet. Instead, he looked at the stars she had drawn above the chalk girl's head. "You're really good at this." She shrugged. "It's just chalk. Rain takes it away. But not before someone sees it," Liam said softly. That made her pause. He didn't know her name, didn't know why she was on the street, but something about her presence felt more real than anything he'd felt in years. And when she finally said, "You can sit there if you want. Just don't talk too much," Liam smiled. That was how it began. A billionaire's son and a girl with chalk-stained fingers under the fading sky of a forgotten street. The next day, Liam returned. Same street, same cracked pavement, but no sign of her. The drawings were gone. A light rain overnight had washed them into colorful rivers along the gutter. He walked the block twice, hoping to see a figure curled in a doorway or someone holding chalk. Nothing. He came back again the next day, and the next. On the fourth day, she was there. She sat on the same spot, not drawing this time, just reading a torn paperback with half the cover missing. Her braid was neater, her expression unreadable. Liam approached quietly, unsure if she'd remember him. "You again," she said, not looking up. "You didn't leave me much choice," he replied. I had questions. She finally glanced at him. Still don't have answers. He sat beside her again. Like last time, a careful distance. Not too close. The city buzzed around them. But here it felt like time slowed down. You have a name? He asked. I do, she said. Then said nothing more. He waited. Eventually, she closed her book and looked at him. Emma. Liam. But you knew that. I remember, you wore expensive sneakers to a broken sidewalk. He smiled. You live around here? He asked. Emma tilted her head. I exist around here. That's enough. There was pride in her voice, not arrogance, dignity. It was the kind of pride that doesn't ask for pity, doesn't want saving. You ever let people help you? Liam asked. Genuinely. She looked at him a long moment, only when they don't expect anything back. I don't. Then sit. That's help enough. He noticed her hands, chalk-stained still, but with long, delicate fingers. The kind you'd expect on a pianist, not someone living on the street. And the way she spoke, every word chosen, balanced, not the voice of someone who'd spent years in shelters or fighting to survive. So he asked, Where'd you learn to draw like that? She paused. I had a tutor, a long time ago. Liam raised an eyebrow. A tutor. Emma stood up suddenly, brushing off her jeans. Enough for today. I don't do interviews. She started walking away, her book tucked under her arm. Liam stood too. Wait. I'm not trying to fix you. I think you're more than this sidewalk. She turned around. Just once. And you think I don't know that? Then she was gone again. He didn't follow. But that night, Liam lay in bed, staring at the ceiling of his $12 million apartment. And for the first time, it didn't feel like a home. Liam couldn't stop thinking about her. Emma. There was something about the way she carried herself. Too calm, too sharp, like she wasn't really from the world she now slept in, like she had fallen from somewhere higher. The next morning, instead of going to the office, Liam took his laptop and sat in the back of his driver's black SUV. He typed her name into every search engine he could find. Emma, chalk artist. He homeless New York. Too vague. So he tried another approach. He remembered what she said. I had a tutor. The way she said it stuck with him. Tutors weren't for people who grew up in the system or bounced between shelters. Tutors were for the elite. For people like him. He called in a favor from an old school friend, Olivia, now working in a non-profit that tracked runaways and missing young adults. Liam described Emma. Her age. Her look. Her talent. Her tone. Olivia listened quietly. After a pause, she said, You sure she's on the street now? Yeah. Why? Because you might be talking about someone we stopped looking for 3 years ago. Liam felt his stomach twist. What do you mean? There was a girl. Emma Caldwell. Manhattan private schools. Classical piano training. Art scholarships. Tian. Lined up for colleges. Disappeared after a family scandal. No foul play proven. But everything got sealed pretty fast. Her father was someone with power. Liam sat in silence, heart pounding. Can you send me her photo? 10 minutes later, his phone buzzed. It was her. You found her, he whispered. That evening, he returned to the same sidewalk. No drawings today. But she was there again, sitting with a paper bag of something warm. She was eating slowly, eyes distant. Liam sat next to her. You're Emma Caldwell. She didn't flinch. Didn't look surprised. Just slowly put the food aside. You Googled me? I had to. Why? Because I don't think you belong out here. Not like this. She looked at him, and this time there was no shield in her eyes, just tiredness. That's the thing about belonging, Liam. It stops being yours when people decide you're inconvenient. What happened? She took a breath, then said, "My father was a financial advisor. Not your average one. He handled fortunes, hush money, and dirt for people who don't like sunlight. When I turned 22, I found out he used accounts in my name. Offshore. Illegal things." Liam's throat tightened. "So I confronted him," she said, her voice low. "He told me to forget it. I didn't. I went to a journalist. 2 weeks later, my apartment caught fire. They ruled it an accident. But I know better. You went underground. I had to. The moment I went public, I'd be chased by people who'd rather I disappeared. So I did. Better they think I'm just another invisible face on the street." Liam sat still. The city noise buzzed in the background. But inside him, everything had gone quiet. "Why tell me this?" "Because you already know. And now, you're a risk to me." He looked at her. "I don't care. You should." He leaned forward just slightly. "I can help." She stood. "Don't be a hero, Liam. Heroes die first in stories like mine." And with that, she was gone again. Swallowed by the shadows, leaving Liam alone, with a truth that had just become very, very dangerous. Liam hadn't planned on telling anyone. But secrets don't stay buried long when you live in a glass tower. It started with a phone call from his father's assistant. "Your father would like to see you." Now, the tone was polite. But the urgency wasn't masked. Liam entered the Ashford Enterprises building and took the elevator to the 42nd floor. Everything smelled like success: marble floors, polished brass, filtered air. But to him it all felt hollow now. His father, Richard Ashford, waited behind a vast mahogany desk, staring out at the skyline like he owned the city. "You've been spending time in the East End," Richard said without turning. So, you're being followed. And I'd like to know why." Liam didn't flinch. "Because I met someone." Richard turned then, his eyes were sharp, like knives hidden in a business suit. "A girl? A woman? Her name is Emma." Richard froze for half a second. That was enough. "Emma Caldwell." Liam's stomach dropped. "You know her?" Richard exhaled slowly and walked to the minibar. "Of course I do. Every man with power in this city knows her father and what she tried to do." "She told me everything," Liam said. "Then I suggest you forget it." "No." Richard poured 2 drinks, only handed one. "You think this is about love, about justice, Liam? You're playing in waters filled with sharks, and this girl, she's radioactive. She's not the one who should be hiding." "You are," Richard chuckled darkly. "Do you know how many lives would collapse if what she knows came out? Political careers, corporations, banks, your friends, even me." Liam stared at him. "What did you do?" "Enough," Richard snapped. "Enough that I made sure those files she leaked disappeared. Enough that I kept her alive by making her irrelevant." "So you buried her?" "I saved her." Liam stood. "I'm not afraid of them." "You should be," Richard said, "because they're watching you now too." That night, when Liam returned to his apartment, he found the front door ajar. Nothing was missing. But everything had been moved just slightly. His laptop screen was still warm. His phone had been placed on the table, though he always kept it in his pocket. They wanted him to know. He looked out the window and saw a black car across the street. Engine off, windows tinted. Liam picked up his coat and ran out the back. He didn't know where she was, but he needed to find her. Before they did, he found her 3 days later. She was hiding in the back of a half-collapsed warehouse near the river. He'd gone to all their old spots, the sidewalk where they first met, the alley near the bookstore, even the shelter that sometimes gave her a hot meal. Nothing, until he saw the chalk. A single symbol, drawn low on a rusted dumpster, an open eye. She'd told him once that was her sign, her way of saying, "I'm still here." Liam followed the trail. She was curled up near a broken window, her backpack clutched to her chest, her eyes red. "Emma," he whispered. She looked up. He didn't recognize the expression on her face. Part fear, part relief, part guilt. "They know," he said. "They broke into my place. My father threatened me. I think we're being followed." She stood, slowly. She didn't ask how he found her. "I told you not to come looking." "I don't care. You should." "No, Emma. I really don't. I'm in this now, whether you want me or not." She sat down heavily on a concrete beam, silent, for a moment, then pulled a small flash drive from the lining of her bag. "This is everything," she said. "The accounts, the bribes, the shell companies. It's encrypted, but not enough. They've been hunting me for this." "Let's go to the press," Liam said. "They'll kill the story," Emma replied. "Pay off editors, intimidate writers. It'll never reach the light." "Then what?" She looked up at him. "We do it ourselves. A live stream, a dump site, with backups in different countries, and we release it all at once." Liam nodded. "Let's burn them all." They worked through the night. Emma was a genius, not just in art, but in survival. She'd built layers of security, contingency plans, even automated scripts. Liam used his access to high-speed servers, old media contacts, and tools only the wealthy ever touch. By sunrise, it was done. The data was set to release at noon, to thousands of inboxes, to whistleblower sites, even to major networks, all at once. "You ready?" she asked, sitting across from him in the warehouse, laptop open. He looked at her. For the first time since they met, she wasn't running. She was standing tall. "Yeah." She pressed enter, and everything changed. Within minutes, phones across the city started buzzing. Reports flooded in. Scandals, names, amounts, offshore islands, politicians, CEOs, Ashford Enterprises. By evening, the city was on fire, metaphorically. By midnight, there were arrests. By morning, Richard Ashford was no longer in control of anything. And Emma, gone again. Liam searched, called, reached out, but she disappeared like chalk in the rain. Until one day, months later, a package arrived at his door. Inside was a single photo, a seaside village in Portugal, a woman sitting in the sun, drawing children with bright colors, her braid, her eyes, her peace. No return address, just a note: "You saved me too." For weeks after the data drop, Liam lived in chaos. Reporters camped outside his building. Former friends distanced themselves. Business partners vanished overnight. His father's empire crumbled in courtrooms and headlines. But Liam didn't regret it. He'd finally done something real. When the dust settled, he moved out of the penthouse, sold the cars, shut down the trust fund. He didn't want the world built on silence anymore. He took a small apartment near Central Park, bought a second-hand bike, spent time helping out at shelters, places where Emma had once slept, hidden, survived. He got to know names, stories, patterns. The system was still broken, but now he saw it. And then came the photo. Portugal, sunlight, colors, peace. He stared at it for hours. Her handwriting, just 3 words. "You saved me too." She was alive, free, and she hadn't forgotten. Liam held on to that image like a map, back to something true. He didn't rush to find her, didn't book a flight the next day. He knew better now. Emma had rebuilt her life, not as someone's secret, or target, or scandal, but as herself. And maybe, one day when the time was right, they'd meet again. But until then, Liam kept walking, kept working, kept living a life he finally believed in. Not the one written in gold, but the one drawn slowly, in chalk, fragile, beautiful, and real.